Well, apparently Sarah was pretty set on having me on board when she started working on the film. So she contacted me and asked me if I wanted to get involved. And at the time, I was stuck in something else, so I couldn't jump right on board. But I really loved the the script and Sarah, of course. I had known her since I was a kid in Iceland because the journey to Avonlea was very popular in Iceland in the TV. so so I remembered her from when I was a child, and so I was excited to get to work with her. And then, well, luckily the stars aligned with this other project that I was involved in, so I was able to finally join the project, and I was really happy I did. It was so beautiful to have this dialogue with Sarah, because she is, she's so fearless in her kind of openness and love and just um, despite all the things that she's been through in her life, she's like the way that she kind of opens up about them and talks about them and shares her stories, like, just as a human and as a woman. I just find it's so inspiring how she approaches it, because she's definitely an activist. She's a feminist activist, I would say, but she approaches it from such an interesting perspective. It's not kind of forceful and violent, like you would sometimes, would be my, at least, like, musical inclination to go like heavy and dark and more forceful, but she approaches it with such beauty and optimism that I just find so wonderful. And it was very interesting for me to approach a subject like this from that angle. I was clear that the sound world of the score wanted to be rather folky in a way, because the story happens in a kind of rural setting with no, there's no technology, there's nothing, there's no kind of, like, upper class instruments that these women would have access to. I mean, they wouldn't probably even have access to any instruments, but I felt like instruments that could possibly be accessible, at least to this environment, if not just these women specifically, would have been something like guitars, or something that's kind of more kind of like folky and traditional. So I wanted to lean into that sort of instrumentation. When I do scores, I really feel it's important to really, like, dive into the subject, like, very deeply, and so I spend a lot of time somehow, like, trying to just immerse myself in the environment that's happening in the story, and so I knew that if I was going to survive living in this environment, like, I would have to lean pretty heavily on the love and friendship that I experience through music with my friends. When you're writing film music, it often helps to have, like, a theme or something that you can connect to musically, or audibly, to a person or a scenario, or like, an environment. And I think uh, for this film, I mean, it's really like a collective. Like, I don't feel like any one character is kind of we're not staying, like, so much with one specific character. It's more about the collective and the situation that these women are going through together. So the main theme for the movie is kind of their collective theme, like the theme that kind of moves them forward and carries them. I feel like they were so open and supportive of the film that Sarah was making, and I just feel like they gave her so much space to tell the story in the way that she felt she needed to, and it's not always that film production happens in that way. There can be like lots of different opinions and different kind of ideas that you have to work around. But I feel like there was a sense of unity somehow in the way that everyone was moving in the same direction with like a lot of respect and openness. The cast is just phenomenal. I mean, all these actors are just they're really phenomenal. I think in this film, and really, again, like the love and the feelings that they put into their performances is really, really moving, I think. I think emotionally it was the most challenging film I think I have worked on, because I have rarely been so paralyzed by the subject that I was approaching, because I just had a really hard time imagining anyone, like, man or woman, having to go through something like this. But at the same time, it was just so wonderful to experience the kind of the love and the trust and the spirit, the great spirit that went into the actual filmmaking itself. It made it really such a beautiful project to be a part of. So it's something that I'll always cherish.